I'm on a small track here, road, and I've never been up here before, and it's actually only about 7 or 8 kilometers away from my home. It's like a new world. Just discovered this road by accident. I remember somebody told me a long time ago that there was a road or track, I think at the time, it goes up to one of the tops of these hills here, and you get a good view from the top. So I've got no idea if this is the same road or track that person was on about. Hope it is. I mean, just shows there's a lot of undiscovered trails and tracks and roads and things that I just have absolutely no idea about. They're just very close to home. So I think the thing to do is be adventurous and I mean, I'm completely lost. I have no idea where I am, and I'm really no stranger to that, and I enjoy it. I know that if worst came to worst, I could just ask villagers how to get out of here and stuff, and if really worst came to worst, then I could just give a friend or my wife a call and send them my position, and I'm sure they could work out where I was. Wishful thinking, maybe. Okay, there's some sort of waterway down there. Doesn't look to be any water in it, but yeah, it's a dried up creek. Wow, look at this. Undiscovered territory. Now we've got a choice where we go. I think the one with the sign is probably looking best. Wow. I think there must be a waterfall around here. I mean, that's not much water flowing there, but yeah. One of my wife's uncles, like when I first moved to Hat-Yai, he was trying to take me around and show me the area. And he came in this area. It wasn't along this trail, but it was in this general location. And he took me to, he was sort of asking for directions but from the villagers. And he took me to this waterfall, supposedly a waterfall. And it had drips of water. There wasn't really a flow at all. So that was a bit of a disappointment for both of us. I mean, he didn't actually know it was going to be so uninspiring. This looks pretty new. So maybe, maybe this used to just be a dirt track. So perhaps this is what that person was telling me about. It must have been at least 4 or 5 years ago. So it's looking quite likely. I mean, we're heading towards the top of this hill up here. I don't know if you can see that. Another little stream there. Not much water, but I mean, at least it is flowing. And trail walking up there. Interesting. Yeah, maybe this is the downhill section. Is that as high as we're going to get? I don't know. Now this may just come to an abrupt end. I have no idea, never been along here before. Pretty fun looking road there. Yeah, I guess that was as high as we're going to get. This is all pretty well heading down here. Ah, this is the abrupt end. Oh no, yes it is, yeah. Oh well, back onto sand. Now we've got to be a bit careful with this sand because it could be very, very deep. So I could go off at any moment here. Now climbing up on deep sand is not so easy. Just stick to the edge. Yeah, this is very thick now. And I don't think we're going to do well climbing on the side either. And now I've stopped. Probably not a good idea. Oh well, managed to get going again. Very deep. I'm a bit quiet now, I'm concentrating. Trying not to fall off. Ah, back to a concrete trail. Okay, good. And we're going up again. So we seem to be surrounded by slopes here, surrounded by hills. I was talking to our secretary at school yesterday, and she was asking lots of questions about, you know, my ventures into the jungle and animals and creatures that I've encountered. So I was going through my photos and showing her different things that I've seen. Should we go that way? Let's have a look. We're following the signed road. Can't read that sign, that's a sort of local council sign. Yeah, so our secretary, you know, she was asking lots of questions as I was going through the animals and showing her pictures of them, or those that I had managed to capture on the camera or on the video. And she said, "Have you never seen a tiger?" I actually laughed at that. I thought it was quite funny. To which I replied, "Well, if I had, I probably wouldn't be here right now to tell you about it." But that area where I go quite often, to that waterfall area, one of the villagers there, an older chap, he's about in his mid-60s, maybe approaching 70. many years ago, I used to sit and talk to him and his wife, because they had a little, not really a coffee shop, but a place that you could get coffee. And he would tell me all these stories about from when he was young. And it turns out that when he was just a kid, in his Thai style wooden house, you know, at night he'd go into his bedroom, you know, these sort of quite thin wooden walls and, you know, shuttered windows, not glass, and he'd sort of try to go to sleep with the sounds of tigers roaring in the distance from the area where I go to that waterfall. Now I'm going to push here because otherwise I'll not be able to talk, and even pushing I might not be able to talk. Yeah, so this old guy, he was telling me all these stories, and that was, you know, I was sort of putting a timestamp on it. That was a long time ago. So, you know, that would have been at least 10 years ago that he was telling me these stories. So that would have put him to about 55, let's say, at that time. And, you know, if we take 40 years off that, that would have made him about 15. Perhaps, you know, if we take 45 years off that, so that would have made him about 10. And so 10 years ago from today is 2011 minus 45. Here's my maths. Okay, so we got 2011 minus 40 is 1970, 65, thereabouts. Yeah, we're about 1965, 66. So just before I was born. Yeah, so back in those days, there were apparently still tigers in that area, in the waterfall area where I often go. But I'm sure nobody's checked since, you know, if there are any tigers still around. I would highly doubt it, because there's too much human activity in the area. I mean, it's not a great deal, you know, comparatively, but it's probably more than enough to displace tigers. They wouldn't hang around. Right, let's get back on the bike. All right, I'll get back to you in a little while.